At 14,460 pounds, this big beauty of a Jayco Pinnacle is a lot of things, but small ain't one of them. So the story, you're thinking, man, this thing's late model. It's absolutely loaded. They even put a generator in it. Why don't they have it anymore? And the idea was they got rid of the house. They bought this thing. They were full timing. They took one trip to Alaska, had a ball. Right after they got back, lady of the house basically blew her knee apart and is currently dealing with all of that, and with no certainty as to when or if she'll ever regain proper mobility. They said, you know, we love camping. And they were multi-time Haylett RV customers. They have bought multiple things here over the years. This was supposed to be the last one. But now they're looking for something like a travel trailer where they'll have fewer steps to manage, and they had no plans on ever getting rid of this. And that's part of the reason they spent a bunch of money doing things like adding a generator and a bunch of extra widgets and whiz-bangs. Just unfortunately, they never got to see the return on that investment. Good news for you guys, though. Just unfortunate news for them, but we're going to help them find the next one that hopefully can actually be the last one. Before I open the slides up, I had a really good chance to take a look at this. And I tell you, I don't know if I've ever seen a used RV with cleaner slide roofs. That says volumes to me about the care and the maintenance that went into this. A lot of people just don't clean off the top of their slides before they close them. And it boggles my mind, and obviously owners here didn't have that problem. The slide awnings probably helped keep stuff clean, but the fact is they definitely did something to help keep these things clean. Now, like most RVs, when you with an opposing slide setup and an island, you're not going to get to too much in the living area when it's closed. But if you notice, the Wile E. Coyotes over at Jayco, they did position the fridge on this one so that you can basically still access the refrigerator. Now you might need to reach around the corner, but the fact is, you know, it's not too bad. It could be worse. Better than nothing. And it's always one of those situations, the moment you step inside a Pinnacle, you can feel you're in something special, different. There's definitely a thing that's going on here. And that the vaulted ceiling, the accented cross beams that they have there, just kind of setting that all off. And then that indirect lighting that runs the length of that crown molding, all that just kind of sets the tone and frames up what is one beautiful picture. What you won't see in here, though, are the air conditioners, and you won't see them either in the living room or the bedroom, because this has dual 15,000 BTU whisper ducted air. Both living room and bedroom are both quiet cooling air systems. So this thing, it has a, you don't have to crank the TV up or yell at the person next to you to try to hear anything. Another really key difference in the Pinnacle series, and it's just easy to talk about while I'm standing here, is that whether it's slide fascia or the actual cabinet styles and doors themselves, it's all hardwood through the whole thing. There's no, well, this is wood, but this has a wrap on it. It's all real stained wood. That's another one of those very different Pinnacle qualities that isn't found most places in the RV industry. That's an exceptionally rare quality nowadays. So we've got dual opposing super slides. They're both 6.5 foot tall, so they're a full walk-in slide height. And what that does is that allows us to have that nice big open feel and plenty of window coverage. And notice all of that window coverage opens for airflow. And also notice how much of that window coverage is over here on the actual camp side of the RV, so that you get to enjoy your site instead of getting in a giant fifth wheel to look at the neighbors. Now we've got dual section day-night shades for all those windows, so you can have as much or little light, privacy, whatever, as you prefer. This down here is a power recline heat massage theater seat on what I like to call Boardwalk and Park Place, directly across from the entertainment center, although you don't see a TV. So not only do you have windows on the door side, you've got windows all the way around this living room. You've got about 270 degrees of window coverage. And when you don't want to watch TV, you've got the window here, but when you do, you just flick that little lever and the TV pops itself right up on that gas strut system, and voila, TV directly across from that beautiful power theater seat. Now down below that we have our electric space heating fireplace with remote control, and you can use it in a heatless fashion just for the LED visuals to give you that nice feel, you know. Little extra Jayco things in these Pinnacles. They include those ottomans. And this thing, they got it packed full of, I don't know, blankets or something in there right now. Probably the bedding for that huge 3-adult sitting trifold sleeper sofa in the back. And it's very, I'm kicking a trash can that was apparently sitting there. It's very easy to underestimate the fact that that is a larger hide-a-bed on this rear wall. And it's easy to miss because this is a wide-body RV. So you've got an extra large sofa and normal size side stands. Like a lot of times when you see these side stands, and you can see how they have both household and USB plugs there, you see those and think, oh, it's just a normal hide-a-bed. But it's actually a wider hide-a-bed. We could call it a wide-a-bed, maybe? I don't know. In addition to the whisper ducted air, we do have this residential ceiling fan up top to help cycle some air around. And what's really cool is all of these different light zones can kind of be controlled independently, whether you do it off the master control panel or through the One Control system, which is a wireless system you can use to manipulate like the auto leveling system and all kinds of other things on this RV right from just your phone. You can, turn the main cabin lights off, the bedroom, the indirect lights off. There's also, I don't even have them all turned on now. I need to take a second to turn on the lower accent lights here in the kitchen as well. And it's easy to miss those during the day. But if I take a knee over here, we look under the counter, you can see that under that counter line we do have accent lights. And it wraps all the way around the side and the opposite side as well. Now, during the day, not terribly impressive. But at night, you have one switch that controls all of the lower accent lighting in the living room, in the bathroom, and the bedroom. And you have a switch to access those lights and to turn them off and on in all 3 of those zones. So if you wake up at night, you want to get to the bathroom or the kitchen, you can navigate the RV without ever turning on any main direct lights. And then you can do what I like to call stealth mode camping and just leave the overhead indirect lights on in the evening as well. 1, it looks cool, and 2, it helps you get around. Solid surface countertops, of course, across the entirety of the kitchen. That high-rise faucet right there. And dual solid surface counter flush covers covering this large skirted, very home-style stainless sink right there. And that is a very snazzy feature that they put in these. And a little pop-up power post right here. It's got a pair of household and a pair of USB outlets on it, and especially if you utilize those sink covers. And note the fact that this is an asymmetrical island, so that even when the covers aren't there, you always have prep space. You'll appreciate having those outlets nearby. Now, something that you're going to find here is we have some really snazzy, soft closed drawers going on, and you've got a nice space down below for a wastebasket, although the previous owners just left one out separately. Now, that's like just dipping our toes in the pond when it comes to storage. Like I said, when it comes to it all, this thing is loaded. So let's start over here right in the slide out. Right next to the kitchen, we've got this floor to slide ceiling pantry, and just so many drawers. It's borderline obscene. Like, there's kitchen drawers, and there's drawers under the oven, and drawers in the pantry. And even the drawers have drawers. It's crazy how much is in this thing. Now, easy to miss is that little appliance outlet back there. That is a little, like you could say, appliance shelf if need be. If there's certain things you only need to pull out now and then. But you can kind of customize the needs of that. And this is motion sense lighting in here as well. But notice how it's all indirect, kind of like what's under the countertop. Over here, our microwave, you will see, is convection. So you can do some quick baking without introducing extra heat into the RV. And I like that full rear wall tile splash back there. Really helps kind of, set the whole look and the mood and the feel. And by the way, there is a power outlet up under here with, very kind of coffee maker friendly corner. That is a sealed burner stovetop, so that kind of like at your house, you don't have to necessarily disassemble half the thing to clean all of it. And again, I love watching these soft closed drawers do their thing. I just think it's got a cool look and feel. 18 cubic foot, traveling friendly, off-grid friendly, refrigerator and freezer. And that thing right there has just, you can really pack that sucker full. That's big. And again, with the propane backup, if you lose power overnight in a park, or if you're camping off-grid, you're not necessarily relegated to running that generator the whole time. Or, if you lose power, it'll kick over automatically on its own, which is a nice handy little thing. And as if we didn't have enough storage, they said, hey, you know that whole wall why don't we go ahead and go just top bananas with that thing? And I also love the fact that there's a place to hang coats right when you walk in the door. That is a personal pet peeve of mine. So you've got all of your normal manual switches, bells, and whistles, and that generator readout right there says 3.3 hours. They use a generator for 3.3 hours. And then unfortunately the lady of the house hurt her knee, and they just don't want to do the extra steps anymore. But in addition to all the physical switches, you've also got like a digital command center right here. And again, you can hook your phone to that. So you can, awning, leveling, slides, lighting, you can run a bunch of that stuff right here, like I said, right off your phone. Now, I love this staircase as you start heading upstairs right here. And one of the things that I think is cool about it is it gives it sort of that like really at-home look and feel. Down below, by the way, is our central vacuum hookup, including what I like to call the electric dustpan. There's a little receptacle right there that if you flick that up with your toe, you can start sweeping stuff toward it, and the central vacuum will suck it right up without having to haul all the hoses out, which are present and accounted for, by the way. But this little corner right here on this nice little hardwood top, this RV has, let me back up, I don't think I talked about them because there's so much to talk about here. Your dining arrangement right here, let's start with that. You've got a pair of full-time chairs for the camping couple. That table has a flip top and a leaf extension to give you more space for guests. And then you see you have a pair of these fold-away guest chairs. Well, in my head, I've always pictured with this floor plan keeping one of those chairs up here and having a pseudo office. So you've got power outlets right here. If you wanted to be able to run like a tablet or something like that, or just charge your phones, you've got a neat little spot to do something neat and special and different. And this is one of those areas, I think every owner is going to kind of utilize this in a little bit different way. So moving upstairs here, let's start with the bathroom area. Now you see all that lower accent lighting I was talking about? Let me find the switch. There you go. All of the lighting, whether it's in the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, it's all on one switch. So again, you can be in any zone, turn off all the lights, and find your way to another zone and turn the accent lights off. It's just genius. And notice that little mother of pearl inlay lighting, even in the stainless sink itself, technically in the side of the countertop, but above the stainless sink. You get the idea. Now, you've also got good drawer space here in the bathroom, a double vanity, and notice how the wall panel changes when we get into the bathroom area. Let me ask you, does your bathroom at home have the same decor as your living room? Probably not. Well, neither does this Pinnacle. Makes a lot of sense when you think about it, doesn't it? You also have a huge fiberglass one-piece shower. Self-reinforced, all kinds of structural integrity going on here, all sorts of headroom even for a bigger person like me. And you might have noticed how it does have its own little seating area. Plus, as deep as that shower is, we've got a floor-to-ceiling linen cabinet that is equally as large. And both in the kitchen and here in the bathroom, we've got the nicer, larger fans to always give us some good, sweet airflow. Now, this is one of those things that's easy to miss. Like, I walk in here and I see a king bed slide, but what you don't realize is the slide out is extended to include extra closet space. And with the previous owners planning, and for a very brief period, trying to full time in this, well, successfully, but just briefly, they said, wow, that extra closet space, that's going to just be awesome. That's that extra thing that we're going to want and need. And one of them, being a CPAP user, had a nice big stand here with a power outlet right below that line down there, so they could always have, full function of that. Now, this is a 70 by 80 big king bed. You can see cross breeze window across from it. And being a wider body RV, we have a larger front closet as well. And you can see those washer-dryer prep hookups over there if you're not too distracted by me sucking in my gut in the reflection over there. Okay. So up here, you've got a true cedar-lined closet with dual extra dresser spaces below, and actually there's 2 hanging rod setups in there. There's all the original central vacuum equipment that I don't think was ever really used. All the original bedroom entertainment stuff is all present and accounted for, and the camera is like, me with, attention deficit disorder, a little bit distracted and unfocused. There we go. And down below, of course, additional dresser space. But once again, one switch zone lighting for all of that indirect lights to be able to see where you're going in the evening. Now, when this RV was not in use, it was being stored in a giant barn they had built just to store this fifth wheel. So It has never been outside other than the one Alaska trip in which they got to go on last fall. And I sure wish they would have had more time to use it, but sadly they did not. But take a look at how little it was used. The outside TV station that was added to this. The original Furrion sticker is still on this. They never used it. It's crazy. The only thing they used on the outside were the stairs to go in and out and the storage. Speaking of the stairs, check this out. So first of all, to get to them, we got to open the door, and you can see how we have a little passcode thing on the door right here. But this is also the 0G stable step system. You've got a gas strut in there, so if you lift these steps up, if let's say you've had like rotator cuff surgery or something, or you know, they're tall, they're big, they're a little bit heavy, and you don't want to have to worry about the weight of it. These things do the heavy lifting for you. Once you know it, they got the little Jayco emblazoned in there. Previous owners also did something smart. Instead of that plastic holdback, they added a nice little magnet holdback to keep that door in place. Now you might notice how there's also a larger handle getting in and out of here. And take a look at the height of the door in relation to that walk-in slide-out we already talked about. Notice how they're the same size? This has even a residential sized door. Like 30 inches wide, 6.5 foot tall, residential sized door. Very cool stuff. Now over here, because you have an expanded, extended upper deck, you gain the ability to have a little bit of a outside mini kitchenette, convenience station, whatever. And in addition to all the fridge space that's already inside, you gain a little bit more out here. So this thing has, I think, over 20 cubic foot of cold storage, which is pretty awesome. You've got your little cooktop out here, and there is another gas grill connect so that if you want to do grilling, you can. Previous owners also put on the foot pads these, I don't know, they look like elephant feet things to me, but it expands the footprint of the foot pads so they don't sink down in mud, because you never know what kind of campsite you're going to be on. Sometimes some are paved, some are dirt, some are not. And having that big drop frame storage gives us the ability to have a monstrous storage cavity in here. The word cavernous comes to mind. Of course, I like that word. Your central vacuum dump locations in here. Should you choose to add solar, that's where your charge controller can go, and we'll talk more about solar as we go because it's both side and roof prepped. Now, neat little thing here. These are one of the better effective heated, insulated, cooling coaches out there. You can see how they're even applying a radiant barrier here to the roof of the belly. You can have they have a direct heat vent here into the storage cavity, plus additional heat vents going down into the belly below, along with all the various layers of insulation and radiant barriers they have down there. But check this out. Most RVs with an enclosed underbelly, only the area between the I-beams is actually enclosed. But on a Pinnacle, you can see it's fully skirted. It's just that one more extra thing they do on Pinnacles. Now this one was made generator ready when we built it brand new. And that means it has 3 40-pound propane tanks. Now they're big, they're heavy, but fact is, guys, you've got 120 pounds of propane, and one of the things that's doing, in addition to maybe running a furnace, is running the generator that the previous owners had us install. So this thing has 2 batteries in it. It's got the 5500 propane generator and some really impressive propane capacity. If you want to be able to park anywhere tonight and use everything in the RV, you can. That's what the folks had planned on this one. They wanted to be able to just say, hey honey, let's just go west tonight, and then stop. And they only got to do that one time. Pinnacles are a 102-inch wide-body product. They are max width to give you maximum, living space when you get to your destination. That high-gloss skin package looking great. You can see the protective slide awnings still in place, not all scarred up, not torn up, everything doing the way that they're supposed to. You can also see how Jayco does not pre-crack their fiberglass under their slides. They do a little bit more engineering up here to make sure that they never have to have that little, they call it blemish, ugly mark, whatever you want to call it. And man, look at all that. Now, while we're down here, this is an easy to miss thing. This is a switch, and this is a light to be able to see what you're doing under your slide. Well, why do you care about that? Well, what if it's the middle of night and you run out of propane or something and you need to get in here? Well, you can see what you're doing. It doesn't take a lot of light, it takes just enough. And since it's under and behind that flange, you're never going to bother the neighbors with it either. Now, you can see how this door over here is self-strutted so that it holds itself open since it goes under that slide. One of those plastic holdbacks would probably not do the job for you. And you've got a fully enclosed, heated, docking station. All of our gate valves are enclosed, protected, heated. You've got a simple side mount solar prep here. You've also got all your solar prep options on the roof. This has the SantaCon system on it. If you're not familiar with it, more common in motorhomes, you have a macerator system for your black tank. And if you don't know what that means, guys, you know what a garbage disposal is for a kitchen sink, right? This has a garbage disposal for the black tank. And the actual hose that you put into the sewer dump station, it's all built in. You never have to, like, unhook anything, although you've got a nice little extra storage space here. Remember how that outside kitchen was on that side? This is what I call the tool chest right here. It's just extra storage space they put on because why not? Now this has a really serious best-in-class feature. Goodyear Beast radials. These things are absolutely massive, and one of the it's part of they call it their 5-star handling package. Like, you have the Goodyear radials, you have the MoRide rubber shock dampening suspension system, and you have a matching MoRide pin box. And there's a few other aspects that go into it, like Dexter axles. But the fact is, for a big sucker, the previous owners even mentioned, we hate to give it up because, it towed really nicely. Now, one of the key reasons the previous owner purchased this was this little widget right here. This is a 50 amp RV, and 50 amp cords. That's a lot of copper. They're heavy. And previous owner said, Josh, I'm not getting any younger. And it'd be nice if I had one of those power retract and power extend cord reels so I didn't have to wrestle with that thing. And that's exactly what Pinnacles have on them. Now you've got a little accessory receiver hitch on the back here, so should you choose to, add a little bike rack or something, you could. You can see how they have extra tail lights so that when you hit the brakes, there's more obvious, more chances, communication for the drivers behind you. They can see that, oh yeah, this big rig in front of me is getting ready to stop. I better hit the brakes myself. The extra large slide side windows beside your theater seating, for instance, those are slide open windows. All the rest of the windows will be frameless, so that you can get that good look and still get some rainy day airflow function. This is that extra gas grill quick connect setup back here I mentioned when we were up by the little convenience center. Now, right here, we already talked about the outside TV station, although that can pivot around if you need to for easier viewing. And, oh gosh, I'm missing a major thing. Let me take a walk around. Oh, I know. Dual awnings. So first of all, with that extended upper deck, between that extra large bed and bath area, you've got a huge patio awning as it is. But notice on the face of the slide itself, there's another awning. This thing has an absolutely crazy, incredible amount of total patio coverage. And other than a couple birds who left their mark on the top of this thing while it was stored inside a giant barn, the roof looks factory fresh. I mean, all the seals, the roof membrane, everything looks terrific. This is the lid for the power vent fan in the kitchen area. And we do have roof mount solar prep here. And this thing being so large, it is just like a blank canvas begging you to go nuts throwing a bunch of solar panels up here if you're so inclined. You can see that the air conditioners they use here, they're low profile. That's partially due to, well, mostly due to the fact that, remember, this has a taller bedroom. You have bigger bedroom ceilings, which means that there's, less overall height on the outside before you, smash it into something. So they do need to do what they can to manage the top height on this, so you can do things like get under bridges. But guys, this thing is in ace condition. Like I said, the folks that owned it, top shelf people, always providing the highest level of maintenance to their RVs. I just don't think you can go wrong here. They wouldn't be swapping out of it if, the lady of the house hadn't basically blown her knee apart. So the good news for you guys is you're going to get a retirement grade, like last RV you ever want to own, at a used price tag. And possibly still qualify for same as new finance. And none of that's bad stuff. So give us a call, 800-256-5196. Haylet RV of Coldwater, Michigan. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.